Imagine you just submitted a payment instruction to your bank. The payment has left your hands, but what happens next? Was it accepted? Is it still being processed? Or was it rejected? This is where pain.002 becomes important. In this video, we'll understand pain.002, the ISO 20022 payment status report, and see how it fits into the payment journey. So what exactly is pain.002? Pain.002 is an ISO 20022 payment status report message. It is used to communicate the status of a payment initiation instruction. In simple terms, pain.001 tells the bank what payment you want to make. Pain.002 tells you what happened to that payment instruction. Think of pain.002 as the status update associated with a payment initiation process. The easiest way to remember these two messages is pain.001, initiate the payment. Pain.002, communicate the status. For example, a customer submits a payment instruction using pain.001. The bank processes that instruction and can provide a status using pain.002. So, pain.001 is the instruction. Pain.002 is the status report. This simple relationship is one of the most important concepts to remember. Now let's place pain.002 into the bigger picture. First, the customer or initiating party submits a payment instruction. The bank receives that instruction and performs the required processing and validations. Depending on the processing stage and implementation, a status can then be communicated back to the initiating party. That status communication is where pain.002 comes into the picture. So the simplified journey is customer bank processing status. Let's take a simple example. Suppose you are a customer and you want to send an international payment. Your payment instruction is submitted to your bank. In an ISO 20022 customer-to-bank flow, that instruction can be represented by pain.001. The bank then validates and processes the instruction. A status report can be provided using pain.002, depending on the relevant business flow and implementation. So think of the interaction as pain.001, here's my payment instruction. Pain.002, here's the status of that instruction. So what information can a pain.002 status report provide? It can communicate different stages or outcomes of the payment instruction. For example, the instruction may be accepted. It may be accepted for processing or execution. It may remain pending, or it may eventually be rejected. And when a payment instruction is rejected, the message can also contain reason information that helps explain why. This is extremely useful for both customers and banking operations teams. Now let's look inside a pain.002 message. Like other ISO 20022 messages, pain.002 is structured using XML. Instead of one large block of unstructured information, the message organizes information into meaningful business elements. Some important areas we'll look at are GrpHdr, OrgnlGrpInfAndSts, OrgnlPmtInfAndSts, TxSts, and StsRsnInf. Each section plays a different role in explaining the status of the original payment instruction. Let's start with the group header, or GrpHdr. The group header contains information that identifies and describes the status report message itself. It can include information such as the message identification, creation date and time, and other header-level information. Think of it as the identity card of the message. Before we look at the actual payment status, the system needs to know: what is this message? When was it created? Which message or report are we dealing with? That's the role of the group header. Next we have OrgnlGrpInfAndSts. The name itself gives us a clue: original group information and status. This section connects the status report to the original payment initiation message. For example, it can provide references to the original message and communicate group-level status information. Why is this important? Because a status report is meaningful only when we know which original payment instruction it relates to. So this section helps establish that connection. Now let's go one level deeper. OrgnlPmtInfAndSts stands for Original Payment Information and Status. This section provides information and status related to the original payment information within the payment initiation. Think about a payment file containing multiple payment instructions. The system needs a structured way to identify which original payment information the status relates to. This section helps make that relationship clear. So far, we have message level, group level, payment information level. Now we reach one of the most important elements in pain.002, TxSts, transaction status. This tells us the status of the individual transaction. And this is where the message becomes really useful. Instead of simply saying, something happened to your payment, the system can communicate a specific status. Was it accepted? Is it still pending? Or was it rejected? The TxSts element helps communicate that transaction-level status. Let's look at some commonly encountered ISO 20022 status codes. ACCP means the payment instruction has been accepted. ACSP means it has been accepted for execution or processing. PDNG means the instruction is pending. And RJCT means the instruction has been rejected. These short codes are extremely powerful because they provide a standardized way for systems to communicate payment status. Instead of different banks inventing their own status terminology, ISO 20022 provides standardized codes that can be interpreted consistently. And remember, ACCP, ACSP, PDNG, and RJCT describe status. They don't all mean the same thing as final settlement. Now imagine the payment status says RJCT, rejected. Naturally, the next question is, why? That's where StsRsnInf, status reason information, becomes important. This area provides information about the reason associated with a payment status. It can help identify the cause of a rejection or other status condition. For operations teams, this is extremely valuable. Instead of simply seeing rejected, they can investigate the reason and determine what corrective action may be required. Let's make that practical. A payment instruction could be rejected because the account information is invalid. Required information may be missing or incomplete. A payment could encounter a regulatory or compliance-related issue, or there could be a processing or technical issue. The exact reason codes and information depend on the message context and implementation. But the key idea is simple. Status tells you what happened. Status reason information helps explain why. Let's bring everything together. A customer or initiating party submits a payment instruction. The instruction can be represented using pain.001. The bank receives and processes that instruction. As the payment instruction moves through the relevant processing stages, a status report can be communicated using pain.002, depending on the business flow. So remember this simple relationship. Pain.001 initiates. Pain.002 communicates status. That's the basic customer-to-bank payment initiation and status reporting concept. Now comes a very important distinction. Pain.002 and PAX.002 are not the same thing. Pain.002 is associated with the customer-to-bank payment initiation space. PAX.002 is used for financial institution-to-financial institution payment status. So think about the perspective. Pain.002, customer payment instruction status. PAX.002, interbank payment status. The word status appears in both, but the business context and participants are different. Now let's add one more message, PAX.004. This gives us three important messages to distinguish. Pain.002, status of a customer payment initiation. PAX.002, status of an interbank payment message or transaction. PAX.004, payment return. The easiest way to remember them is Pain.002, customer-side status. PAX.002, bank-to-bank status. PAX.004, return the payment. Status and return are two very different concepts. Let's take a real-world scenario. A customer submits a payment instruction. The bank receives it. The instruction is accepted. It then moves into processing. But during processing, a validation or business rule fails. The instruction is rejected. At the appropriate stages, status information can be communicated through Pain.002, depending on the implementation. For example, ACCP accepted, PDNG pending, RJCT rejected. And if rejected, the associated reason information can help explain what went wrong. This is why status reporting is so important in modern payment processing. Let's summarize everything in 4 lines. Pain.001, initiate the customer payment instruction. Pain.002, communicate the status of that instruction. PAX.008, financial institution to financial institution customer credit transfer. PAX.002, financial institution to financial institution payment status. And don't forget, pain.004 is used for payment returns. Once you understand these relationships, the ISO 20022 payment ecosystem becomes much easier to navigate. And that's pain.002, from the basic concept to message structure, status codes, reason information, and its place in the payment journey. If you're learning Swift, ISO 20022, CBPR+, cross-border payments, or banking technology, you're in the right place. Like this video, share it with someone working in payments, and follow AK Next Gen Vibes for more practical banking technology explanations. Until the next video, understand payments, understand banking.